Alright guys, so I kind of uploaded a funny clip of Swiss001 on this channel and it kind of went very much famous and I got way too many views for the effort I put in it. So I kind of decided to make some random aviation content on this channel because I was kind of bored and I don't know what to do with my life. So this is my first video. I'll just do some yapping. Well, have fun with the video. Right, so you'll probably recognize this airport. This is of course Frankfurt International Airport. Pretty much everyone knows this airport with like a little knowledge of aviation. Like you can pretty easily recognize the skyline right there. But did you know actually that Frankfurt has two airports? So guys, welcome to Frankfurt Hahn International Airport. Yes, this is another international airport of Frankfurt that not many people know about. And I'm genuinely convinced this is one of the worst airports built ever in Germany. Well, maybe at least except for Berlin-Brandenburg, but this is a whole other story. Maybe you can see already something strange about this airport in the flight simulator, because it's supposed to be an international airport of Frankfurt, you know, a big city in Germany, but you can't really see any big city, like any big skyline we saw before. Yes, it's nowhere to be found. So what's wrong about this airport? And that's because this airport isn't even near Frankfurt, like at all. Just for comparison, this is the normal big Frankfurt airport. And this is Frankfurt Hahn. This is Germany, so it's like a proper distance from Frankfurt, you know? And this airport has actually been a military base back in the Cold War. When the Americans left, they decided to not close it, but make it a commercial airport. Well, in the recent times of like 2010, 2020, it actually has gone kind of downhill. Major passenger airlines started leaving this airport. For example, Ryanair reducing their operations to just 16 routes in 2020. And this airport even literally went bankrupt back in October 2021. So in 2023, it was sold to another company. So this begs the question, why is this airport so unpopular? Well, the first problem is, of course, its location. As mentioned before, it's not even near Frankfurt or basically any other major city. It doesn't really make sense to have an airport in the middle of nowhere. Or at least if you have like an airport in the middle of nowhere, you need a proper infrastructure for people to be able to reach it. And well, the infrastructure, let's say it isn't really that good, because there are three big buses driving here, one from Frankfurt Airport, like from the bigger one from Mainz Central train station, which is right there, and you know, Mainz, it isn't such a bad connection, since Mainz is a pretty big railway hub in Germany, and also of course Frankfurt main station, which is an even bigger railway hub. And well, you might think this isn't too bad, you get through the very reliable German train service to Frankfurt or Mainz, and then take the bus to the airport. Well, the problem is, if we look on this website, which provides the bus services into the airport, we can look how much it actually takes to drive from the airport to the central train station. And guess how long the drive takes? It's not 1 hour, it's not 1.5 hours, it's 2 hours and 10 minutes. Just let that sink in. That's literally longer than some flights flying out of here. We'll get to that later. The 2-hour airport drive isn't like too rare in some bigger cities with very shitty airport connections. But the problem is, not every person lives in Frankfurt, you know? There's also people coming from basically all of this area to this airport, so they gotta drive to Frankfurt with the railway, which takes like around an hour, or maybe even 2, or like, I don't know, around that, and then take the bus that drives 2 hours to the airport. Like, this is literally like 3 to 4 hours airport driving time, simply for like a 2-hour flight to, like, I don't know, maybe Mallorca or something. This actually doesn't make sense for a lot of people. Just for comparison, people are literally crying about Stansted Airport being so far away from London, but if we see how long it takes to get here from like literally London city center, you can see that it's just about 1 hour, but there are actually even more reasons not to go here. Because if we look on Flightradar24 on the arrival board of this airport, we can see that most flights from here are either Wizz Air or Ryanair, and they're like all flying to the very basic budget airline destinations. Now what's funny is that you can actually get to the same destinations for around the same price, probably even with the same airline, Wizz Air or Ryanair, from the usual Frankfurt main airport. So it literally makes no sense to take 4 hours to drive to this damn airport just to take a flight you could have taken for the same money out of the way better Frankfurt International Airport. And well, except for Ryanair and Wizz Air, there's not really anything flying here commercially. There are some private jets flying here. I guess it's cheaper than landing like in a proper Frankfurt airport. And there are also cargo airlines flying here. There are even 747s flying here, which is really crazy. Well, I have to get back to hating this airport, because there's actually even a third big problem. You know, it's maybe not as big as the first two, is the internal airport infrastructure. If we look at this airport, it has a 2.8 star Google review rating with 8,000 total reviews, which is a very, very bad rating. You know, it's not like 5 kids have spammed 1-star reviews onto the airport. No, it's genuinely at 8,000 people like literally hate this airport. If we look at the photos, we can see how just badly this airport has organized. If you see this entrance, you probably think this is like, I don't know, like a side entrance or something like that. Guess what? This is literally a main entrance. If the entrance looks like a McDonald's, you just know this airport isn't really a good one. As we can see, it isn't really a very pleasant experience in this airport either. This is like the main terminal. It looks worse than a German railway station, which, you know, does definitely mean something. You know what's actually even funnier? That you have to walk to the airplane by yourself. They don't even provide buses for you, like airport buses, you know. No, you just take these walks and you just walk by yourself through the damn airport to the airplane. This is literally peak level of poorness. To be honest, I don't really see any future for this airport. Maybe it's a cargo hub, because there are actually also a lot of cargo airlines flying here. As a passenger airport, this is really not a good place. There's so many changes that have to be done and so much money that has to be spent to this airport for it to actually become attractive for passengers again, that it's just easier to not use it at all and close it off. I can actually very well see it closing or becoming like a cargo hub, something like that. I don't really see any passenger future for this airport. So guys, if you like this video, this is my first video, so please like and subscribe. Bye bye.